Hello, it's Marvin. Welcome back to the channel back here. I'm doing my 2025 NFL predictions here for week number 3 after going 5-2 in week number 2. I have a personal season record of 12-2 on the season through the first 14 games I have predicted this year. Going to week number 3, another 7 games on the docket for this week. Another 7 matchups. That should be fun to see. How will I do this week? Let's get started. Week 3 NFL predictions right here. Right now, starting us out on Thursday Night Football in Buffalo between the Bills and the Dolphins. The Bills, one of those teams in the AFC that has controlled so far in the AFC. They're one of those teams that has found ways to win games, not just by playing good football, but by being a team that's very good. And look at the Bills, they have Josh Allen. The Dolphins have Tua Tagovailoa. The Dolphins this year have had a tough year so far. In the first 2 weeks, can the Dolphins rebound, or will the Bills and Josh Allen take control going into week 3? With the Bills playing at home in the past with these two teams, last year was with these two teams that they've split the season series, I believe, over the last few years. And there's a year there where the Bills won both games. They've also met in the playoffs a few years ago where the Bills won twice against them in 3 appearances. But looking at it, this matchup has become a rivalry unlike any other, where it's hard for the home team to get the job done. The road team has issues getting the job done, though. But overall, if you're the Bills, Josh Allen playing at home should be a pretty easy task to take a win away. And I think that happens here on Thursday night. So give the Bills and Josh Allen the win for me on my games to start out the week in week number 3 on Thursday night. Moving on, our next matchup Sunday. The Indianapolis Colts, Daniel Jones, surprise, surprise, Tennessee Titans. They're headed to Tennessee on Sunday afternoon. And surprisingly, one of the most surprising teams this year out of the AFC South so far, the Indianapolis Colts, winning 2 in a row. Now, I'm not so sure we can say, hey, look, are the Colts an early contender to make the playoffs? A team could they be one of those sleeper teams? Yes, you can say that right now, going into week number 3. And can you say that after week 3? I think personally, yes. Daniel Jones. Everyone said, oh, well, one of the reasons the Giants got rid of him was because he kind of played quarterback and wasn't very good in New York. Well, he showed people the first 2 weeks in Indianapolis are different. He's 2-0, has a 2-0 record. They're going into Tennessee, a team that has not had very successful numbers as of the last few years, but one of those teams that can play well in matchups. And overall, I think the Colts, going on the road this one, playing Tennessee, a team that does not do very well, I think the Colts come away with a big road win, and I think Daniel Jones, as starter of Indianapolis Colts, gets to 3-0, surprisingly. But we'll have to wait and see what happens on Sunday. But give me the Colts and Daniel Jones a win in Tennessee. Moving on. We have the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to Washington to play Jada Daniels, the quarterback of the Commanders. Commanders last week took a tough loss to Green Bay. 27-18, a game where the Commanders didn't show up after winning 21-6 in week 1. The Commanders fell apart last week with Jaden Daniels, but it was only the second game of the season. Commanders didn't start winning games till later on in the year last year with Jaden Daniels as starting quarterback, and they proved that he can be a quarterback that leads them to an NFC title. Against Vegas, a team that's 1-1, the whole AFC West. Everyone's 1-1 in that division except for Kansas City, who's 0-2. But here on this one, Commanders, Raiders have to go on the road, travel all the way from Vegas to go to East Coast to play Washington. Travel across a few different time zones. I think that's going to be the toughest part for Vegas. And playing in an early afternoon game, that's going to be one of the toughest things to do. I think the Commanders come out at home on Sunday, get the job done, get their second win of the season in Washington on Sunday afternoon. So give me Jaden Daniels and the Commanders in this one. Moving on. We have the Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford of the Rams. They're going to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, a rematch of the NFC divisional round from last year. Rematch from the NFC divisional round from last year. where the Eagles won big this year. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles so far have proved that they can win games in close games. Each of their first 2 wins by less than 7 points. They won 24-20 against Dallas in Week 1. They won 2017 against the Chiefs on Sunday, a game I predicted they would win. As a Chiefs fan, it's hard to say that the Chiefs aren't going to be one of those teams that are going to be good this year. But the Chiefs will be good at some points. But for the Eagles, they won by 3 points. And here's the situation with the Eagles. You have to stop winning games by less than 7 points. They need to win a game by more than 7 points. If they're going to be a team that goes back to Super Bowl and be the best team there is, which I predicted the Eagles will be the number 1 seed this year. You have to win games by winning by more than 7 points. Will it start against the Rams? That's a very good question. Last year in the playoffs it worked, I think. But this year, is it going to be against the Rams where they get their first win over 7 points or more? I believe it could be, but if it's by 7 or less, it might be tough. Might be a while before we see them win by 7 or more. This one, I do see it being an interesting matchup. I think the Eagles and Jalen Hurts get the job done, but only by 7 points this week, unfortunately. And as I do see the trend continuing with 1-score wins for the Eagles by 7 or less points, unfortunately. So we'll see. Moving on, New Orleans and Seattle. The Saints, they're going to come against the Seahawks. Geno Smith, Seahawks, coming off a big win. They beat the Steelers on the road on Sunday. Aaron Rodgers. And when you can beat Aaron Rodgers at his age, you can call yourself a winning team. And the Seahawks said that. For the Saints are one of those teams I'm not so sure. They're a good team. Only because they don't have a good... I don't really know who their starter is. No one knows who the starting quarterback of the Saints is. They're a questionable team. For the Seahawks and Geno Smith, it's about continuing their trend and ways to win by being creative with a team around Geno Smith that he can win with. And yes, I do see that happening again this weekend in Seattle. It's one of those matchups where it's interesting to see what happens. Seattle, they could be one of those teams that could surprise people. We'll have to wait and see. The NFC West, right now, for me, is a wide open division. I do think San Francisco, though, gets back to the playoffs. But we'll see now that Brock Purdy's out, from what I've seen. 49ers having injury issues. We'll wait and see what happens. But for me, I have the Seahawks winning here in week number 2, here in week 3. So give me the Seahawks at home on Sunday against the Saints. Moving on, last but not least, second to last game of the day. Last game on Sunday, we have the Cowboys. We have the Bears. Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, and Dak Prescott on the Cowboys. One of the toughest division matchups. Bears coming in at 0-2, still under first-year head coach in Ben Johnson, while the Cowboys come in 1-1. Cowboys are getting a big home win in overtime against the Giants on Sunday. I think the question of this matchup coming up is this. How long will it take before the Bears get a win under Ben Johnson? And how will it happen? Well, this weekend against the Dallas Cowboys, it could be one of those matchups where the Bears actually get their first win. Now, personally, I think playing at home, would it be a better way to do it when you win at home? Yes, I think it would be a better way to do it when you win at home. Caleb Williams, I think he can make the plays that need to make it happen. But can they not get 12 penalties like they did in week 1 against the Vikings? I think that's going to be one of the biggest questions for the Bears. Don't get too many penalties this week. For the Cowboys, they just need to contain their play, make the plays they need to do. If they can keep a game close this week, they can do it. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, I do see the Bears falling up short again, just like they did in week 1. And also last week after getting beat big time by Detroit 52-21. I think the Bears rebound a little bit this week, but I don't think they win it. I see Dallas getting a close win in week 3 in Chicago. Moving on, our next game, Monday night, Detroit Lions. Jared Goff and the Lions coming in after winning 52-21 against the Bears. They're playing the Ravens. Lamar Jackson. Could this be an early season matchup that is a Super Bowl 60 preview in San Francisco later on this year? Overall, personally, yes, I do think it's one of those matchups where it is a early Super Bowl 60 preview for these two teams. Two teams that have two great quarterbacks who can definitely play football. Two teams that have great wide receiver corps, great receivers. But the quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, two quarterbacks who've been in the league for a while. Jared Goff has played in one Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson hasn't got to a Super Bowl yet. Jared Goff, his only Super Bowl loss was to the Patriots when they lost 13-10 or 13-3, if I'm correct, back in Super Bowl 52. Or wait, that was Super Bowl 53. Actually, he lost. Actually, but I'd recount that. But looking at this game overall, Ravens playing at home on a Monday night. It's going to be a tough game for the Lions to go in. Can they put up 52 points again? I don't think they do, but I do think Lamar Jackson and Jared Goff, I think this game can be a really good game. I think this game might be whoever makes the least amount of mistakes at the end of the day. That being said, I think the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, get a huge win on Monday night and a close game against the Lions to finish off week number 3. As I'll give you a recap of who I'm taking in Buffalo on Thursday night. I'm taking Josh Allen and the Bills over the Dolphins. In Tennessee, I'm taking the Colts, Daniel Jones, the surprise Colts over the Titans. In Washington, I'm taking the Commanders and Jaden Daniels against the Raiders. In Philadelphia, I'm taking Jalen Hurts and the Eagles over Matthew Stafford and the Rams. In Seattle, I'm taking Geno Smith and the Seahawks over the Saints. And in Chicago, on Sunday, I'm taking Dak Prescott and the Cowboys in a close one against the Bears and Caleb Williams. And on Monday night, I'm taking Lamar Jackson and the Ravens over the Lions and Jared Goff on Monday night. There are week 3 in the books, prediction-wise. Back here after the game Monday night for the NFL prediction recap video. Hopefully, might be Monday night, might be Tuesday morning, we'll see. And with that being said, NFL prediction quick version coming up after this one, a little bit later. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please comment below who your favorite team is playing this week, and if you think they're going to win. And if you liked today's video, please remember to watch, like, subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends to do the same if they've not done so already. And also, don't forget, hit that notification button below so you know when there's a new video on the channel. With that being said, I will see you right back here in the week 4 NFL prediction video next Tuesday. With that being said, have a good day, stay safe, and peace out. And I'll see you on Tuesday, everyone, next week for week 4. Bye for now, have a good day, and stay safe. I'll see you then. Bye for now, have a good day, everyone. See ya.